Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive into the absolutely fascinating tapestry of July 23rd. Today we're taking a single calendar date and transforming it into this stunning cross-section of human triumph, tragedy, and just everyday life. If you've ever wondered how much the world can actually change on one specific day of the year, well, you're definitely in the right place.
To give us a clear roadmap today, we're going to break down the anatomy of July 23rd into 5 chapters. Chapter 1, Empires and Revolutions. 2, Leaps in Innovation. 3, Tragedies and Near Misses. 4, Notable July 23rd Births. And finally, Chapter 5, The March of History.
Okay, let's jump right into Chapter 1, Empires and Revolutions, looking at the shifting of global power.
So this day brilliantly illustrates how human conflict has evolved over time. I mean, just look at this. In 1319, a Knights Hospitaller fleet scored this crushing victory off the coast of Chios. We're talking an era of swords and wooden sailing ships. Now jump forward nearly 700 years to 1999. Over in Tokyo, a single individual hijacked All Nippon Airways Flight 61. It's wild to think that in the exact same 24-hour block of the calendar, we see this drastic shift from massive naval armadas to the terrifying, very real vulnerabilities of modern aviation.
But you know, beyond just battles, July 23rd has witnessed some massive political turning points. In 1908, the Ottoman Empire accepted its second constitution, which was a huge shift for one of the world's oldest powers. Fast forward a bit to 1921, and the Chinese Communist Party was established at its founding National Congress, fundamentally altering the global geopolitical landscape. And then in 1952, the Free Officers Movement overthrew King Farouk of Egypt. We're talking about 3 entirely different regions, 3 totally different ideologies, all experiencing monumental power shifts on this exact date.
Now, I really love this next one. There's this Greek concept called metapolitefsi, and it perfectly captures the 1974 transition of power that happened on July 23rd. On this day, the Greek military junta collapsed and the nation finally pivoted back toward democracy. This single word essentially represents an entire nation breathing a collective sigh of relief. It's a powerful reminder of how dates on a calendar become synonymous with national rebirth, a day they can actually celebrate. Moving right along, let's hit Chapter 2, Leaps in Innovation, where we explore pushing the boundaries of possibility.
The technological acceleration tied to this specific day is just incredible. Okay, in 1829, the typographer, which was basically the mechanical precursor to the typewriter, gets patented. Flash forward to 1972, and the U.S. launches Landsat-1, the very first Earth resources satellite. Then jump all the way to 2015, and NASA announces the discovery of Kepler 452b, an entirely new exoplanet. Just think about that. In less than 2 centuries, humanity went from a clunky mechanical writing machine to discovering distant worlds light years away.
To really put that sheer scale of progress into perspective, think about 1903. That's when the Ford Motor Company sold its very first car, kicking off the dawn of the mass consumer automobile. Well, just 77 years later, on the exact same date in 1980, Pham Tuan flew aboard the Soyuz 37 mission, becoming the first Asian citizen in space. We literally went from rolling a car out of a garage to launching a human into the cosmos in less than a single human lifetime. That is wild.
Oh, and speaking of anniversaries we celebrate today, this is also the day the world got significantly smaller. On July 23, 1962, the Telstar satellite relayed the first publicly transmitted live transatlantic television program featuring the legendary broadcaster Walter Cronkite. For the very first time in history, an audience could look at a screen and see a live, moving image from the other side of the ocean. The globally connected media age as we know it was born right here. Of course, history isn't always triumphant. Let's look at Chapter 3, Tragedies and Near Misses, focusing on the fragility of the human experience. We definitely have to acknowledge the intense human struggles tied to this date. In 1967, the devastating Detroit riots began, eventually taking 43 lives and burning down about 1,400 buildings. In 1983, a terrifying aviation emergency unfolded when Air Canada Flight 143 ran out of fuel mid-flight, leading to the famous Gimli glider dead stick landing. And tragically, in 2018, the deadliest wildfire in Greece's history struck East Attica, claiming over 100 lives. Events like these serve as a really stark reminder of the immense fragility of our infrastructure and, honestly, our lives.
But guys, perhaps the most shocking event tied to this date is the ultimate what-if scenario. On July 23, 2012, a massive solar storm, like an unusually large coronal mass ejection, barreled through space, and it missed the Earth by just 9 days. Had our planet been positioned just slightly differently in its orbit, we would have taken a direct hit.
So, what would a direct hit have actually meant for us? Well, experts estimate up to $2.6 trillion in damage to electrical equipment worldwide. It would have fried satellites, collapsed power grids, and completely altered modern life as we know it. So today, while people are out celebrating their birthdays or national holidays, every July 23rd, we are also quietly observing the anniversary of a planetary dodge. It's a day the modern world literally survived.
Which brings us perfectly to Chapter 4, Notable July 23 Births, a look at the people who made history.
Because really, the sheer variety of potential born onto the planet on this day is staggering. Today, the world celebrates the legacy of global figures like Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie and former Botswana Vice President Kwet Maser. But it's also a day that gave us phenomenal acting talents like the late Philip Seymour Hoffman and Woody Harrelson. And on the musical front, it is the birth date of both legendary rock guitarist Slash and bluegrass superstar Alison Krauss. It just perfectly illustrates the totally unpredictable genius that can be born on any given day.
And that brings us to our final chapter. Chapter 5. The March of History, asking the big question, what comes next?
When you look back at all of this, the falling empires, the technological miracles, the tragedies, and the births of future icons, they all share one very simple, powerful thing in common. They happened when the calendar turned to this exact page. It kind of leaves us with a newfound sense of weight, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this. What future history is being written right now? What invention is being patented? What future leader is being born? And what shifting of global power is secretly taking place today? Thank you so much for joining me to explore the rich tapestry of our shared history. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.